Hey guys, it's Stephen Freeborn here from freeborntrainingsystems.com. And real quick, I want to give you a tip about how to make sure and protect your shoulders when you're doing an exercise that you typically don't think of being even related to your shoulder. And that's any kind of, particularly any kind of horizontal row. It can be a fault that we see in some vertical pulling too. So the rule still applies, but it's glaringly obvious usually when somebody does any kind of like a horizontal row, like a one-arm dumbbell row or a barbell bent over row. And the fault is actually kind of an error of not really understanding that we're not really after movement at your upper arm bone. We're after movement at your shoulder blade. And therefore we can kind of substitute one for the other and cause a lot of issues in the front of our shoulder that are unnecessary. And so what I'm talking about, the fault I'm talking about in movement is if you're doing any kind of a row, if you think of you're looking at me from the side while I'm doing any kind of a horizontal row, or even like I said, a vertical row, when you're pulling above you to down below you, a lot of times what you'll see is instead of people getting good retraction and protraction out of their shoulder blade, they'll substitute that for kind of excessive flexion or excessive extension at their upper arm bone. So as they row and pull that weight towards them or pull that weight down to them, they'll finish in this really shoulder forward position and trying to drive their elbow aggressively behind their body. And what you get is you get this kind of sort of impingement at the shoulder joint, and you get a lot of excessive stress being placed on that biceps tendon that wraps up underneath into the AC joint, right up on top of the glenohumeral, or the upper arm bone. And that can cause a lot of irritation, a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, and lead to some achy shoulders over time. And the same thing can be seen when someone does a vertical pull and they finish out here in front instead of finishing back and down, which is where all our pulling should finish, as our shoulder blades are retracting. They're coming around our rib cage and not wanting to fall forward. So if you want to protect your shoulders, keep your shoulders not cranky, and develop the strong muscular upper back you're trying to go for when you're doing rows, and not have unintended consequences from it. Make sure that when you finish, you're getting the motion out of the shoulder blade. So it's actually your shoulder blades that are moving on your rib cage and not your upper arm bones being jammed to the front of the socket. So it's a difference between finishing here and finishing here. So I'm not trying to cue you to aggressively pull your shoulder blades back and down, but I do want you to think about using your shoulder blades to squeeze together and not your upper arm bones coming forward and your elbow going far past your body, which tends to be like the classic, one-arm row mistake people make, is they grab something out in front of them and then they pull it to them, and in the process they're here instead of being here. So I think that'll really help you. I think you'll notice that that's a mistake that you may be making occasionally. Maybe you're making it every time. And I think if you're at the gym looking around, you see people doing rowing exercises, you'll see them making the same mistake. And the hard part with this mistake or this fault isn't that you're going to see the irritation or the impingement and the pain right away, but after the 10,000th rep or the 1,500th rep, you're going to start developing some achiness or pain, and then you'll be trying to investigate why that is. And very few people track it back to poor rowing technique, but that can be part of the problem. So remember, watch the position of your upper arm bone when you're doing rows, and make sure you're getting that motion from your shoulder blade and not your upper arm bone. So if you have questions, want me to explain more about it, please let me know. I'd be happy to do so. But I hope it keeps you feeling good. Hopes it helps you perform better and look better. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.